What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Welcome to Mocha's Ladies Lounge, my women's only channel. Appreciate all the ladies who have been subscribing. I know I haven't been putting a lot of time and energy into this channel, but I'm definitely working on it. And I will be uploading a lot more content in here for my ladies. So if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you share. So that way other women can also subscribe to this channel. Again, this is my ladies only. Mocha's Ladies Lounge, a place where all the ladies, we can chop it up, talk about things, topics as far as something that all women can relate to. So I thought it was very imperative today that I talked about stop confiding in miserable ass women. It's very unfortunate that friendship these days, especially when it comes to Black women, friendship with Black women is not very authentic in this day and age. The truth of the matter is that you have a lot of women that are only confiding in each other, that are only building friendship based off of the same common struggles. Struggles is the reason a lot of Black women have learned to bond with each other and build friendship. If you really, really think about it, every friendship, you as a Black woman, every friendship that you have ever built, every bond, if you really reflect on your friendships in the past or possibly your current friendship, you will realize that it was a common struggle that made you and that person bond. Most Black women, we bond because of struggle. They call it trauma bonding, but I call it struggle bonding. The majority of the time we struggle because we bond because we have a common struggle. For instance, that's why you notice a lot of women that are pretty much on the same level. You will see them pretty much connecting. You will see them traveling together. You see most Black women that are pretty much in the same type of struggle. You will see them together. That's why you see a lot of single mothers hanging with single mothers. Or you will see single women hanging with single women. Or you'll see married women hanging with married women. Because again, the truth is we as Black women, most Black women, we feel more comfortable with people in our space that's pretty much on our same level of struggle. We feel comfortable. You're going to see the project chicks hanging with the project chicks. You're going to see the uppity, high class echelon females hanging with the upper class females. You're not going to catch a project chick hanging with an upscale, with an upscale classy female, because they can't relate. They cannot relate to the same struggle. You're not going to see a lot of single mothers hang out with married women, and married women hang out with single mothers. Now, this is not to say, that you can't have a genuine friendship just because you and a person are in a different space. But again, that takes maturity. It takes maturity for a single woman to hang out with a married woman and not be jealous or intimidated by her because she has a husband, or or the married woman, low-key hating on the single woman because she's married, but she's miserable because she don't have the same freedom that the single woman has. In other words, two Black women can come from two totally different areas in life and still bond a friendship without one feeling intimidated or one feeling more superior or less inferior than the other, if there's maturity. You have to have maturity. Only a mature woman can gracefully accept another woman's friendship, even if she's doing better than her or doing less than her, without looking down on her, because again, it's that maturity of understanding, hey, I've been there, or hey, I can always end up in her shoes. If Black women would keep in mind that, hey, just because you're the single mother right now and you're hanging out with somebody that's married, you don't need to be low-key hating or jealous because your opportunity may come one day where you may be married, vice versa. And married women also don't need to be thinking they're more superior than single women, because your marriage could go left, things could derail. In other words, a mature woman understands that she does not have to be hating on another woman. She does not have to be intimidated or jealous of another woman because she has her own blessings, or she's woman enough to wait her turn for her blessings to come into fruition. So basically, that's what it boils down to. But I really want to get into talking about stop confiding in miserable ass women. There was a young lady recently who just found out, she really has come to the realization that her marriage has finally ran the end of its course. And she's tolerated a lot of disrespect over the years from her husband. She's tolerating him cheating on her, not once, not twice, several times. She's dealt with his infidelities. She's dealt with him having children outside of their marriage. She basically has tolerated a lot. And she's finally hit that space. She's finally come to the end of the road where she realizes, you know what? I cannot do this marriage anymore. I cannot pretend that my marriage is going great. I cannot pretend that I'm happy. She finally has gotten to that point where she realizes, I have to let go of this marriage because it's making me miserable. Out of all people, she decides to go confide into another female who's miserable, who done lost her marriage. And I'm like, as a woman, why would you want to confide and tell another miserable ass female anything that's going on in your personal life? And that's one of the biggest problems that we have as Black women. We want to confide in women who we know really don't have our best interests. Now, keep in mind, this woman already knows that this particular female who she's confiding in is someone who has already shown her within the friendship that she does not have her back, and that's the problem with a lot of us as Black women. We always are trying to confide in miserable ass females who we know really don't want the best for us. But what tends to happen is sometimes as a woman, when you're at your really lowest point, and you just so badly need somebody to turn to because you're at your lowest. And when you're at your lowest, you make yourself very vulnerable. And what tends to happen is when you're at your lowest, you will confide in anybody. You leave yourself very vulnerable. And most of the time, I've noticed that women, when we hit our lowest point, the first people we confide in is these miserable ass females who already was low-key waiting for something to go wrong for you anyway. And here it is, you reach out to them and you let them know, hey, I'm my marriage isn't working. Hey, I done lost my job. As a woman, you have to have the spirit of discretion. You cannot confide in certain women who have already shown you in the friendship that they got some low-key animosity towards you, that they got some low-key jealousy. As a woman, you have to read in between the lines, because the truth of the matter is everybody who claims to be your friend is really not your friend. Everybody who claims they want to see you win, they really don't want to see you win. And black women, we are the most competitive creatures on this planet. We are very competitive. And a lot of it comes from the fact that, unfortunately, we are the race that is at the bottom of the totem pole. We are we are way to the bottom. And the problem is, as being a black woman, you're already competing with society. You know, the society has already put us up against white women. Society has already put us up against Latino women or Puerto Rican women. You know, society has to add insult to injury. Society has put black women up against black men. So we're constantly at odds with society, which in turn has made us very combative, spiritually and mentally, because society is constantly putting us up against someone. So we constantly feel like we have to fight. We have to prove our worth. We have to prove we belong. We have to prove that we are somebody, because we're constantly being told we're not anybody. We're constantly being told we're not of value. You know, so we constantly we feel it's kind of like a child who's always being bullied, who feels like they have to constantly defend themselves. You know what I mean? And I think that is what has happened to a lot of us as being a black woman. We've always been attacked and we're always being bullied. So we're always on the defense about shit, even when it's not that serious. It's easy to be on defense. And as a black woman, that's where you have to woman up and realize that, you know what, you cannot fight every battle. You don't always have to have the last word. You don't always have to prove that you're right. Sometimes sometimes maturity comes with just taking an L and leaving it where it's at. But again, black women, we're so used to being bullied, and social media hasn't made it any better. Social media has put black women in defense where, what's up, Indigo, and everybody who's in the chat. I understand it's early. Some of y'all might be driving, so you can't chat. You can only listen. So I feel you if you can't chat or whatever. So that's cool. But social media has enhanced the bullying even more when it comes to black women. It's like we are always the center of discussion. Now, this is not to say that some of us don't deserve it, because the truth is, a lot of us have put ourselves in the crossfire. As a black woman, you have to be careful how you put yourself out there, because sometimes, especially when you put yourself out there in a negative light, you make yourself the mascot of fuckery. And that is what has happened. And that is why black women, we are constantly the butt of jokes. We are constantly the hot topic. You can't go on any social media, you can't go on any channel and the platform not be about a black women. Black women with low self-esteem, black women who only attracted to thugs, black women who want to play the victim. You know, we're constantly the center of discussion. You know, and the truth is, had it not been for us, had it not been for us giving people fuckery material, half of these content creators wouldn't be booming like they are now. half of them wouldn't be popping like they are now had it not been for us. Okay, because I guarantee you, the day these content creators stop bashing black women and stop going in on black women, their channels will not be successful. So as much as people would like to down us, we are the reason a lot of people are winning. Because the moment they stop talking about us, their platforms, their views are going to decline. We are all as much disrespect that we get on the daily. The moment these dudes stop talking about black women fuckery, their channels will decline. A lot of them are afraid to switch gears and talk about something else because basically we are the ones that got their channels popping right now. Black women got their channels popping. Even the fucked up black women, even the project scallywags, strags, whatever you want to call it. But we're the reason your channels is popping, because the moment you stop talking about us, you'll be irrelevant. A lot of these guys, and don't get me wrong, I understand, I get it, because you got black women who do it too. You have black women that constantly want to go in on black men, constantly. And I get it, but it's more male content creators that are over that are outshining the black female content creators that's doing the black male bashing. So the truth is that, as I stated, black women, we get a lot of negative publicity, and a lot of it we bring on ourselves because of the things that we do, because of how we carry ourselves. We make ourselves the center of the topic. And it really boils down to, you have to make the individual choice that you don't have to fall into that statistic of becoming the black woman that a lot of these brothers are dragging and talking about. You don't have to be that single mom with 8-9 kids and 5-6 baby daddies. You don't have to be that, that piss poor epitome of what a black woman is assumed to be. You don't have to fall into that statistic. At the end of the day, that's an individual choice. But as I was stating, is that black women, we are always bonding with other black women who share our same struggles. As I mentioned before, that's why you got single mothers who hang with single mothers. You got married women who hang with married women. You got project chicks who hang with project chicks. You got upscale fit women like lawyers and doctors who hang out with other upscale women that are lawyers and doctors and got their own businesses, because black women are, honestly, we are more comfortable hanging with people on our struggle. Because when you hang, the reason for that is because as black women, when we hang around other black women who we feel are doing better than we are, who we feel like has more than we have, what it tends to do is it tends to eat us up like cancer. Because, for instance, if you have a project chick, who has to struggle from child support check to make ends meet, because she can't get a job because she has too many children. She does not get along with the father of her children, which puts her in a position where all the responsibility is on her. And here it is, she's hanging around this successful black woman who has her children from her husband, owns her own business. Eventually, what's going to end up happening is the friendship is going to get turbulent. What's up, Era? What's up, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼? Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼. Rhapsody brought up an interesting point. When I talk to married women, they have I can't read this morning. Elitist. If I said that wrong, I apologize. When I talk to married women that have a elitist attitude, and when I talk to miserable older women that wanted a husband and didn't get it, they discourage me from men. Absolutely. That's the God's honest truth, and this is why I say, women can be very toxic to one another, because again, if you're in a position where it's not too late for you to be able to have certain things, and you're pretty much dealing with a female where life has already passed her by and it's too late for her, she's going to try to discourage you. I actually, at one point in time, I was friends with an older female because I felt like I could learn from her, because I've always bonded with older women because of my level of knowledge. I never really could bond with females my age. Even when I was 13, 14, I didn't have the mind of a 13, 14-year-old. When I was 13, 14, I had the mind of a 19-year-old. So I never could hang with young females. But as I started hanging with older women, certain ones, not all of them, but the ones that were single, the ones that pretty much have already tarnished themselves, who already had bad reputations and things of that nature. I've had older women who were bitter, who basically tried to pass down their bitter knowledge to me, telling me what type of man I should look for, telling me what kind of man I should get, discouraging me from being married. Because the truth is, a lot of them, some of these older women, they pretty much already knew it was over for them. They pretty much knew they hit the wall, and they knew I had a chance, because at the time I was only 19, 20. I lied. I was about 18, going on 19. So I didn't have any children. I never been married at that point. So life was just starting for me. And it's very sad, but you have a lot of these older Black women that have allowed their bitterness to shape the way they perceive men, the way they perceive marriage. So what tends to happen is they will pass down their bitter principles to younger women, whether if those younger women are their daughters, their nieces, or their friends. And I've had older women who already knew their time was up. They already knew their thought card had expired. And they knew I still had a chance. My life was just beginning. Their life was ending, or came to a halt, put it that way. But my life was just beginning. So she would try to poison me with her bitter woman shenanigans. Like, you don't need to get married. You don't need to be married to have kids. You don't need no man. You don't need no husband. Just anything to try to poison my way of thinking. That way I can end up in the same situation as her. Now, keep it in mind, it's not only women who do this. You got older men who have done this. You got older men too who also hit the wall. And they want to try to discourage young men from wanting something that they cannot get anymore. That's why you have to be careful, because bitterness is on so many levels now. Bitterness is not just a Black woman who hit the wall disease. You got these older dudes now that are also trying to discourage young Black men into marrying. You have older guys that are telling young men, you need to just bang these bitches. Don't be trying to wife these bitches, and you need to just get as much as you can get. And the sad part is the Black community, we like to set each other up for failure. Yeah, I call it a thought card, Kai. Indigo says, my mom never found a good guy, and that was on her choice. When things didn't work out, they were all bad. However, she didn't want me finding a good guy either and tried discouraging me. Oh, yes. Absolutely. A lot of the older Black women, and it's unfortunate. That is why a lot of us as Black women, we were already at a disadvantage way before we even reached womanhood. And I wish if Black men really understood our background and what shaped us into our way of thinking, they wouldn't belittle us as harshly. If they really understood that some of us were already at a disadvantage before we even reached womanhood because of how we were raised. Some of us as young Black girls had aunts, had grandmothers, had mothers, had older women in our family. A lot of us as young Black women was exposed to the bitterness of older Black women that you don't need no man, you can do bad by yourself. That's why I'm not married. All men are the same. You know, when you're a young Black woman and you're listening to your aunts talk like that, your grandmothers talk like that, you're listening to these older women constantly badger the thought of marriage. When you're hearing these older women bash marriage, when you're hearing these older women bash relationships, and you're hearing all of this in your youth, you're not you're not old enough to process that is my aunt, is my mom, is she giving me this advice because she's bitter? Or is she giving me this advice because she does not want me to be hurt? She does not want me to be taken advantage of like she was. And usually by the time, as a Black woman, by the time you can decipher healthy advice from negative advice, the only way you can kind of decipher it is once you have reached womanhood and you have gone through enough of your own experiences to learn what's the difference between a man controlling you and a man grooming you, because there's a difference. But when you're a young woman and these older women are not really being transparent and explaining it to you in the right way, you can misinterpret that message and apply it and utilize it the wrong way. And this is the reason why a lot of us as Black women are struggling with relationships. We're struggling with relationships. Like, for instance, in my family, I am one of the few, and I'm not saying this to brag, and I'm not saying this because I'm better than anybody in my family, but many generations ago, I can say everyone in my family, the women in my family so far, all of them, the majority of them are on their second or third marriage. I am one in a few that has broken that generational curse, and I've been in my same marriage going on 20-something years. I'm one in a few. Now, what I do notice is, as the women in my family became older, they started locking in. They basically remained in their marriages once they started seeing the younger generation doing it. It's damn near like I had to be the one to teach them, if that makes any sense to anybody. Now, my thing is, I could have very well, had I not had a mind of my own, I could have very well fallen into that same entrapment, because I had experienced challenges in my marriage myself. I could have very well been one of those women that threw in a towel and been on husband number 3, husband number 4, husband number 5. But I ended up, the thing is, even when I had my share of trials and tribulations in my marriage, and the women in my family was aware of those trials and tribulations, when I had them trying to discourage me to leave my marriage, it wasn't so much, I don't think it was so much because they wanted me to lose, but I feel like that was all that they knew. They were on husband number 4. They was on husband number 5. So for them, if a marriage didn't work, or if y'all are having problems, you just move on to your next marriage. It wasn't so much that that's what they wanted me to be in the same situation, but they was only giving me the knowledge that they had. That's what they did. That's what they felt was the thing to do. And sure enough, when I had all of these people, when I had the women in my family, making me feel inferior for being willing to persevere and press on past the issues that was transpiring in my marriage. Those who had so much negative to say about it, those who had an opinion and felt like, I was less than a woman because I was able to persevere and endure certain things that they couldn't. It almost it could have affected me to the point to where everybody's opinions was eating me up to where I could have left and not look back. But because I was always strong in my own principles and morals, no one could influence me to leave my marriage. And the funny part is these same women that was gunning for me to walk away from my marriage, these were the same women years later down the line ended up respecting my decision. And they was like, you know what? Now I see why you hung in there no matter what, because now that I'm married, my mom, she came to me. I will say that my mom was one of those black women. She wasn't so headstrong in being wrong. You feel me? She came to me and she told me, she said, I respect why you hung in there, why you stayed consistent no matter what. I wish I knew then what you know now. I would have saved myself a lot of stress and disappointments with all these constant marriages. I would have been better off just sticking it out with one man, because all it did was bring heartache after heartache after heartache. And at least I see why you stood by your husband. So sometimes, ladies, you have to take the punches, and you're going to have these bitter women on the outside that's going to tell you dumb, you stupid, but those will be the same ones that end up respecting you for what you do. You know what I'm saying? Reading y'all comments. Mocha, us men have a saying in regards to this: before a man does anything to a woman, another woman got to her first. Oh yeah, yep. That's very true, Kai. Very true. I've never heard of that, but that's a very true statement. It's crazy. I just stated myself, and I don't trust none of them. And it's sad, but sometimes you got to protect your peace by any means. Era Black says, should have been family support. Most women can't just move on, but in whatever you wanted to do, the family should back you. And yeah, it took years. It took years because, again, I had to break that generational curse. You have to realize all the women in my family, or at least been on a second and third. My grandmother, God rest her, bless her soul, she been married 4 times. My mom has been married about 6 times. My aunt has been married twice. Like I said, the majority of the women in my family have been married more than once. And I was the only one who broke that generational curse. So sometimes you have to take the initiative and break that generational curse. Just because it's always been that way in your bloodline and your family tree, it does not mean you have to keep that tradition. Just because your great grandmama had multiple baby daddies, your grandmama had multiple baby daddies, your mama had multiple baby daddies, now you feel like you have to have multiple baby daddies. And the part that disappoints me with us as Black women is that a lot of us have been exposed to the struggle. You already know the struggle. So why do you want to keep repeating it? A lot of us as Black women, we were raised in single parent households. You know how hard your mama had it. You know how hard your grandmama had it. You've been in the struggle. You witnessed the struggle. You witnessed it. Honestly, there's no excuse for us as Black women to repeat the struggle. Because the truth is, a lot of us have lived it. You know what it's like being born and raised in a household where it's 8 and 9 siblings and all of y'all had different fathers. You know what it was like when your brother or your sister daddy would come to see them, but your daddy would never come to see you. You know how you felt as a child. When your siblings had a bond with their father, but you didn't have a bond with your father, or you had a bond with your father, but your siblings didn't. And you saw what your siblings went through. And the part, and if anything, Black women, your mother's struggle should be your reference guide. You got two choices. You can either go the opposite direction, or you can keep the tradition going. You keep the cycle going. And in our culture, the women teach the younger women how to sexually please the man, how to behave with the man, etc. Very true. I'm the only one breaking every generational curse. Absolutely. And that's really, and that is what a lot of Black women need to be striving for. We need to strive to break the generational curse. But the problem is, a lot of us, we just keep it going. Okay, your grandmother, like I said, your great grandmother got multiple baby daddies. Your grandmother got multiple baby daddies. Now you have multiple baby daddies. Now you got a daughter. She's slowly but surely walking into your footsteps. Now she's on her third baby daddy. It's just an ongoing cycle that a lot of us have become complacent and repeating the struggle. And not only we as Black women, not only do we repeat the struggle, we actually celebrate it. We celebrate it. My thing is, when you find out your daughter is pregnant, the first thing you want to do is run to Party City and get decorations and start planning her baby shower. You should be scared to death for her. You should be scared to death. Because you know what your daughter is about to go through. You know she's going to be a single mother. You know these young niggas out here ain't trying to help these young ladies raise these children. You know what your daughter is up against. My mom and dad broke the tradition. I trace my ancestry back to my great-great-grandparents. They all were married. Absolutely. Generational curses are real. Generational curses are real. History does have a way of repeating itself. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. Absolutely. And that's unfortunate. A lot of us as Black women, your only chances of survival is by going the totally opposite direction. That is the only chance you stand in becoming something and having something. And I totally get where you're coming from, Rhapsody and Indigo, because I totally feel the same way. I am definitely proud that I went a whole nother route. And I think as Black women, we don't give ourselves enough credit because it's so many, and I get it, so many Black women getting dragged on social media. You never hear about the ones that have made good decisions. We never, the ones who have made good decisions, we don't never really get the respect or the credit that we deserve. But guess what? You don't have to look for validation. Long as you know you did the right thing and you made a better decision and you're not another statistic, that's all that matters. Eric says, Rhapsody, I agree. That's why men are traveling or wishing to travel to meet another type of woman without all this stuff on the modern average American Black woman's mind. And I can totally agree with that. What has happened is so many of us as Black women, we have belittled our way of thinking. We have belittled our standards, and most of all, we have belittled ourselves. And this is why the Black community doesn't really take us seriously. They don't take us seriously, because it's more negativity being produced about us than it is positivity. And it's sad, but the ratchet women are outshining. It's these ratchet Black women that are outshining or are getting more recognition than Black women who are trying to be about something. Black women who are handling their business. We're not getting the shine. It's the OnlyFans. It's the ones that are on OnlyFans. It's the ones that's ghetto gagging, these ghetto gaggers. Those are the ones that are outshining the women that are trying to be successful. The women who want more out of life. They are basically outnumbering us. It's the ratchet Black women that are outnumbering the Black women that are trying to be successful. And when Rhapsody says they used to shame women and men back in the day, my sister and I did not take my mother's route. My mother and my sister at age 16 and has 2 baby fathers and never married. I totally understand that because again, like I said, my mom, she's been married like 7 times, and she had me and my siblings very young. It's 5 of us. No one has children except me. And the youngest, he's like 27. He doesn't have any kids. So for all of us to be raised in a single parent household, none of us are single parents. And this is not to brag and say I'm so much better than anyone, because there's other things that we did go through. There's other challenges we did come across. It wasn't single parenting, wasn't one. But again, it's an individual choice, because we could have very well followed the same tradition, but all of us have decided that's not what we wanted. My sister is 37, has no children. She's traveling. My brother is 38, has no children. He wants to travel. My baby brother has no children. I'm the only one who gave my mother a grandchild, and my daughter is 20. So my mom is every bit of 63 years old and only has 1 grandchild. That rarely ever happens in the Black community. Most women, hell, I know Black women who only 35 and already on their 3rd, 4th, 5th grandchild. What's up, underrated? So it's not improbable. So when my mom talks to her older friends in high school and they say, "Oh yeah, I got 10 grandchildren. Oh yeah, I got 33 grands." When my mom tells them she only has 1, They look at her like she's from a foreign planet. You only have one grandchild. How old is your grandchild? 20. So it's not improbable. And this is coming from a woman who grew up in a single parent household. So truth be told, you have some single mothers that are strong enough to teach their black children to not repeat their struggle. My mother did not want us falling into the same entrapment that she did as a single mother. So my mother was very transparent and told me her mistakes and told me where she feel like she failed as a mother. Now, this new generation, these new black mothers, they are not going to be honest and let their children know that they failed them. The problem with the black women in this generation, that they're not being real with their children. They're not being transparent. That you don't have enough black, for instance, you don't have enough of older black women telling young black women it's not, being a single mom is not cool. You have this generation now, as soon as they find out their daughter is pregnant, they go throw a baby shower. Instead of them preparing them for the challenges that are going to come about with being a single mother, no, they throw a baby shower. That's what they do. When you find out you have a young child, your daughter expecting, and she's going to become a mother, and she's not even grown woman enough to get her own place, she still has to live with you while she's carrying this child. This is the time that you should be sitting down with her and letting her know that she's, from here on out, she's going to have to woman up and make better decisions, because now whatever decision she's make is not just going to affect her, it's going to affect the child she's carrying. And it just saddens me that you have black women that will help their daughters celebrate their struggle. You should be scared to death, because as a black woman, if you are a single mother, you already know what your daughter is going to be in for as a single parent. You already know. You already know she's going to have to run this nigga down and make him want to be there. Because, you know, these young dudes, they ain't ready to be nobody daddy, because they still running the streets and wilding out. You're going to have to let her know she's going to have to get a job. She's going to have something to offer that child. Now, the problem with black women, we want to give daughters our struggle, but we don't want to give them our knowledge. Now, when my daughter was only 5, no, my daughter was 7. And this is a true story. My daughter was 7 years old. We had a welfare office here off of Wheaton Street. And I took her over there one day. I took her near the welfare office. True story. There was a young woman standing at the bus stop. Looked like she had 3 kids. She couldn't have been no more than probably 17. She had one baby on her hip while she was carrying one in her stomach and holding the hand of the other one. So you could tell she probably had like I think it was maybe a 1-year-old on the hip and a 2-year-old that she was the 2-year-old whose hand she was holding, and she was expecting, and she was at the bus stop. I told my daughter right then, I said, do you know why she's at the bus stop with 3 kids? And my daughter was 7, but she had the mind of a 13-year-old. So I was able to talk to her deep, and she was able to comprehend exactly what I was saying to her. I said, this is the situation, what you see right here, right now. This is the entrapment that a lot of young black women your age are becoming falling prey to. You see this chick standing to the bus stop. She got 3 kids. So basically, she had been knocked up 3 different times by 3 dudes. I don't know if it's 3 guys, 3 different men, or maybe all her kids from one guy. But she's at the bus stop. Where's the father of her children? Why is she having to catch the bus? So all 3 of these kids and none of the baby daddies could drop off or pick her up. And evidently, she didn't learn because she got one on her hip and she's carrying another one. So that meant as soon as she got out the hospital, as soon as that child baby came out her womb, she wasted no time cocking back up again and got pregnant right behind that. What's up, Caramel? I told my daughter, I said, if you do not make good decisions with your life and you're around here letting random men raw dog you, this is what's going to happen. You could end up being one of those chicks standing at the bus stop with 3 kids, having to get welfare. You don't have no transportation. Is that what you want out of life? Because that's what's going to happen. I said, women, young women who do not make good decisions, this is where they end up. They end up in the hands of the system. So I made my daughter understand from the beginning of time, either you can go this way or not. I said, is this what you want for your life? You see, she's standing at the bus stop. She got these 3 kids. Do you see any of her baby daddies with her? And I told her this at 7 years old. And this is the reason why she's 20 and she doesn't have any children. Because I told her from the beginning that there is no privilege in being a single mother, having to raise a bunch of children by yourself. And when I say I had to beat it into that child, I had to literally beat it into her to make her get it and make her understand. As a black woman, you can't afford to fuck up, not in this day and era, because we are already limited in choices. We don't have it like that to be getting ourselves in these type of situations. Now she sees everything I ever told her. Now all of her friends who wasn't as fortunate to have mothers who gave them the knowledge that I was able to give her, now she sees what they're going through. And she doesn't want that life. But it took me making her not want it. And a lot of us as black mothers, you have to make your daughters not want the struggle. You have to make them not want it. Exactly, because I had to make her understand. I did not want that for her, and I didn't want it for me. And not only did I not just give her the knowledge, I gave her the tools. The first time she told me she was having sexual intercourse, I said, no, we need to do something about this. We're going to go to the clinic and we're going to get you on something. So not only did I give her the knowledge, I made sure I helped her protect herself. Because at the end of the day, children are going to do what they're going to do when you're not there. 26 and no kids. And that's rare. That's rare. Rare, rare, rare. Exactly. If I don't marry, I'm not having kids. And see, this is the kind of conversation A lot of Black women, we stray away from this type of conversation. When you have young women who talk about how glad they are to not be a young parent, how glad they are to not be a single parent, how they rather wait till they get married. Women that have already made bad decisions, they'll walk out of here when it comes to these kind of these conversations, because they already know that it's too late for them. See, we as Black women, we don't want to be in a space in which we know it's too late to be corrected. But guess what? Even if it's too late for you, do you not realize that you can teach another young woman to not make the same mistakes you made, even if it's just your daughter? Exactly. When my daughter told me, I told my daughter when she was like, I said about 13 years old, because I know she had just become a teenager. I said, if you're going to do something, you need to let me know so I can put you on something. Don't wait till something happens and now you want to take care of it. Oh, Mobley, it's your birthday today, hon? Oh, you'll be 26 and 20 and 2 more days. Well, happy early birthday. Go turn up. Go turn up. Have a margarita for you and me. But this all boils back to, oh, I keep forgetting Mobley is a man. But you know what it is, Mobley? Your first name be throwing me off, because you have a first name that could go both ways. You know what I'm saying? Kai is a guy and a female name. I keep forgetting you a guy. Like the name Tony. Tony could be a guy name and a female name. So you got one of those names that's versatile. But big ups to Mr. Mobley, who's going to be 26, no kids, child support free, stress free, headache free. Congratulations. But yeah, as back to as I was saying, because this ties into what I was stating earlier. It's too many Black women that are confiding in miserable ass women. You got these miserable older women who done already hit the wall, who are already stuck in their ways, that's telling you what you should or shouldn't do, and it's already too late for them. Or you have that one flaky, half shady ass girlfriend who you know shady. You don't really like you. She doesn't really like you. You don't really like her, but y'all tolerate each other. Y'all hang out with each other. I could never be in the business of, I cannot deal with miserable women. I have had my share of friendships in which I have befriended females that I knew was miserable. The worst thing you can do is put your confidence in women that are miserable. And a lot of y'all know y'all got miserable girlfriends. Why do y'all tell them y'all personal business? Why do y'all go to them for advice, knowing they low-key hating on you? Knowing they low-key don't want to send you in? Let me tell you something. You have to pay attention to the little things when it comes to how you befriend these females. In the words of Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. It's the little things that you cannot disregard that will tell you a whole lot about a person. And the truth be told, friendship is not really authentic these days, especially when it comes to Black women. It's not authentic. Caramel, honey, I feel you. Because when I'm ready to go, I'll be ready to go. Now, at one point in time, I did want another child. I say once my daughter turned like, I said when she turned like 17, I wanted another child. But I had struggled in that area. I wasn't able to conceive, and when I did conceive, I miscarried. But it ended up working out for the best because I didn't know what was in my future. I didn't realize that I was going to go into a very demanding career, and being a correctional officer, it's hard to have children because you work these 12-hour shifts. Sometimes you have to stay over, and it was just a lot. So it ended up working out for the best. And when I say I am so selfish, I don't need any more children because I am so selfish. When I'm ready to get up and go to Starbucks, I'm going. I don't have time to pack a baby bag. I don't have time to find a babysitter. When I'm ready to get up and go, I go. That is the beauty of not having any children. The one child I got, she's 20. She's old enough to drive, get herself around. I thank God he blessed me with that one. But when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And to let y'all, and it's the stigma that all Black women love children. And that's so far beyond the truth. I do not like other people's kids. I'm going to be honest with you. I say kids are like a fart. You can stand your own, but you can't stand to be around anybody else's. I don't have patience for other people's children. When I go to Walmart, if I'm going somewhere and I'm going shopping, and somebody's kid is screaming at the top of their lungs like they're being raped or something like that, I have to leave. I don't have the patience for children anymore. I'm 41. I just cannot do it. I don't go places where there's a bunch of kids. That's why you will not see me at Chuck E. Cheese's. You will not see me go places where there's a bunch of children because I really don't have the patience for it. Kids are not library books. You can't return your own back to the sender. Exactly. All women are not crazy about having multiple children because it is a job. It's a job. When you have all of these children and you got to juggle every move you make, you got to take them with you. The dusty men will trap you with the baby, and then you be all alone, and the dusty will be out there making more dusty babies. And that is so true. That is so true. I don't understand the mindset of women. I don't understand the mindset of how we as Black women, how we compute, how we see things. Because my thing is, why would you want to get knocked up, you know what I'm saying, from guys that's already out there producing little baby dusties? And then you just fall straight in line. You fall right in line, and your child gets cheated because whatever child support he gets, it has to be split up with the other mothers. If you see he's already not taking care of the children he has, what would make you feel comfortable? And let me tell you something. Broke dudes are very fertile. The struggle dusties are very fertile. They'll get you pregnant just looking at you. Struggle dusties, they have that super sperm. These unemployed Negroes, reminds me, I had to dump one of my dusty friend of me. That girl was so jealous and very spiteful. Yes, that and I know I've been kind of digressing, but that's pretty much what I've been speaking on, is that you have a lot of these females who be low key hating on you. You can be in a friendship with somebody that's low key hating. I've had my share of these wishy-washy females. I've had my share. And my thing is, as I stated earlier, is that you have to pay attention to the small things that these females would do. You know, like for instance, that low key shading you, that low key, when you telling them something good, like you got a new job or you got a new car, that low key shading, that low key shade when they, girl, you sure you're gonna be able to afford that? Why would you get a house that big? I mean, you could have got something. I know this house on such and such street where it got way more bedrooms and the price is less than that. This little low-key shade, when you try to tell her something positive, she throwing a little shade in there. You have to pay attention to little stuff like that. Or like for instance, I had a friendship with a female who I pretty much allowed to disrespect me way too many times. I will honestly say I created this monster. And when I say disrespect is disrespect, it don't matter how small it is. Disrespect is disrespect. And when you see, when you get just a small smidget of disrespect, you need to check it right then and there, or what's going to happen is they're going to become more and more comfortable with disrespecting you to the point to where it's just going to come natural. Now, my zodiac sign, I'm a Scorpio. And Scorpios, we have a lot of patience. And a lot of our patience come from the fact that we love super duper hard. We love really hard. But the thing about a Scorpio, if you notice, a scorpion has a sting. You fuck us over, we will sting you in the worst way possible. You do not want to suffer the wrath of a Scorpio. I had been in this friendship with this particular female. And when I say small disrespect, when you let that small disrespect go, it festers. It was little things she was doing that I should have checked her right then. But what tends to happen is that when you're a humble person, regardless of your zodiac sign, when you're a humble person, humble people get mistaken for weak. Meekness is sometimes mistaken for weakness. When you're humble, people think you're soft. And I know that was one of the issues, is that I was a very humble person. And she took it as a sign of weakness because she would say shit, do shit, and I would not really address it. And it wasn't that I was afraid of her. I just kept wanting to see the good in her. And sometimes when you want to see the good in people, you'll let a lot of shit go. You was born with a Scorpio moon. Rhapsody. My former girlfriend giving me that hell right now. I know it very well. I know you are feeling the arrow. If she's a Scorpio, oh yeah, you're going to feel that sting for a little while. Oh, goodness. But she had did a lot of disrespectful stuff. Um, all the signs was there. All the signs was there that she did not have my best interest. Like I said, it's the little things. It's the little things you got to pay attention to. Like, I remember one time she brought one of those. I guess her daughter was had one of those little fundraisers or something like that, and she had asked me if I wanted to donate to her daughter's fundraiser. I think the daughter was selling caramel popcorn, something like that. And me being a friend I am, I said, okay, sure. I mean, I'll go ahead and donate a little $20, just being a friend, looking out. So I gave her $20. And she told me when the popcorn stuff would be back at a certain date. It would be coming in within a week or two. So I said, okay. Here was the third week or fourth week passing by. And now, mind you, me and her was working together at the time. She ain't say nothing about the popcorn. She ain't say nothing about it. So time steady going. And I'm like, I'm waiting for her to say something to me. But I'm noticing she not going to say nothing to me. So I brought it up to her and I said, did the popcorn come yet? Did they ship it or what? Oh, girl. Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you. I forgot what lame ass excuse she gave me, but it was something in the matters of, oh yeah, girl, they ran out or they didn't have them again or something like that. But you just go ahead and put it towards. We'll just go ahead and consider the donation. Something she said, and I'm like, okay. I let that slide. But I'm like, okay, it would have been nice had she just told me versus having me look for something and she knew it wasn't coming. So I'm like, okay. So I let that slide. Then there was another time we called ourselves going out of town. She rented a hotel room. We were supposed to do like a girls' night, a girls out of town trip. Now I invited one of my third girlfriends one of my second girlfriends, because there was three of us, who really wasn't that fond of her. But because the girl was cool with me, she said, okay, I'll go. So the plan was for us to rent a room. We all go three ways and rent a room. And we contribute for gas. We help her with the gas because she was the one doing the driving. Okay. So I noticed during the trip that when we all would go out to eat, she was trying to talk us into getting something that all us could eat together, like pizza or, stuff like that. But I'm like, nah, I don't want no pizza. I want to get my own food. I'm not, So I just kind of started peeping. I'm like, this broad must be really ain't got no money like that, because she keep wanting us to get something all us could eat together. But I'm not putting two and two together. So anyway, towards the end of the trip, when it was time to check out, it was time to pay for the room. Now, mind you, we gave her our share up front. And we gave her the gas money up front. So at that point, we shouldn't have to pay for anything. She should have been able to hold her weight and pay for her stuff, and that was going to be that. When it's time to check out, the man tells us that the parking fee has to be paid. Now, you didn't tell us nothing about no parking fee. At this point, you realize you don't have the money. And I think it was like another $100 or something like that. She ain't had it. So me and my friend, we both paid $50 a piece. Now, she said when we got back home, she would pay us back our $50 a piece. So we're like, okay. Now we get back home in town. Here it is 3 days. You still ain't paid back the money you said you was going to pay us. So I asked my girlfriend, I said, did so-and-so, did she give you back your change? Nope, she ain't gave me back my change yet. And I'm like, yeah, Ma. I said, Sarah, what's up, hon? You might have to just unclick it, unclick notification and then reset it. I don't know, but YouTube be tripping sometimes. Yeah, it was $100 for parking, Kai, because it was one of them kind of upscale like hotels, and I don't think she realized that those upscale hotels you pay for everything, even the parking. I think it was like the Hilton or something like that. But okay, cool. We had the money, we paid it. The thing was, you were supposed to give us the money back. So when we got back, what we did was, and then I found out you ain't paid the girl, and I didn't get my money back. I had to go to you and ask you about it. I said, look, we need our money. We looked out or whatever because we knew the situation. We couldn't leave without paying it. But it's going on 3-4 days, and you ain't saying nothing about it. Now, mind you, at this point, she feeling guilty. I know, but what it was, Kyle, we let her book everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking you got it under control. You know what I mean? If you knew parking was going to be involved, you should have told us that up front. So we would have been like, nah, we can go stay somewhere else. So we trusted her to do all the booking, and evidently she didn't know what the hell she was doing. So anyway, well, you came to the job to bring me the $100, so I give the other girl the $50. You had the audacity. You gonna bring the money like you got an attitude. Now, my thing is, when it comes to people borrowing money, why you don't have that same energy when it's time to pay it back? You nicely asked for it, but when it's time to pay the money back, now you got an attitude. She had an attitude because we had asked for our money back. So, like I said, I had seen this broad disrespect me in more ways than one. And it finally got to a point in which I realized, I said, you know what? I'm going to have to cut this broad off. Like, for instance, the other thing she did too. Now I know all the females could probably relate to this. Like, for instance, like, let's say you and your girlfriend, y'all, she kind of aware that you don't get along with a certain female, right? Let's say you and your friend, y'all cool, and she know that you don't like a certain female or you don't get along with a certain female. So for instance, like me and my Cecile, let's say we buddies, we kick it, we hang out, whatever. And she knows that I don't get along with Caramel. Just using y'all as examples. My Cecile know me and Caramel, we don't bubble with each other like that. So let's say Caramel, I found out something about her, and I call my Cecile and I be like, girl, let me tell you about Caramel, girl. I found out Caramel was messing with so-and-so, dealing with so-and-so husband, this, that, whatever. So I reach out and I talk to my Cecile about it and tell her, and her being my friend, knowing I don't care for this broad or whatever, I go and tell her, she tells me, oh, well, you may not know her like that. You don't need to be, you're probably just judging her. I don't think you really know her like that. Are you serious? How you gonna sit up here and defend somebody I don't even bubble with like that? See, it was that little shady bullshit. I had to use y'all, my sister. I had to use y'all so it'll make more sense. I hate talking in third parties because I get thrown off. But yes, I had to make Miss Caramel the messy bitch. I had to do it to her. Yeah, so I'm like, little shit like that. You as a woman, you got to pay attention when these females who claim they're supposed to be your friend, you got to pay attention to them when they do little slick, undercover, shady shit like that. Defending your enemy. You know what I'm saying? defending your enemy, not paying you back when they say they're going to pay you back. And the biggest key is you have to pay attention to how they do other females who they don't like. That's another red flag. You can learn how low down a female is. Pay attention to how she treats people she doesn't like, or people she done fell out with. You need to also pay attention to how they get along with their family. If a big red flag, if women in her own family don't deal with her, that's a red flag. You listen to females when they say, I don't get along with my sister. I don't get along with my mama. I don't get along with my grandmama. Women who don't get along with women in their families, that's a red flag that they're troublesome. If your own family don't fuck with you like that, that means you've done something. Your own mama, me and my mama, we don't get along. We don't talk. Now, I get it. Everybody don't get along with their mom and their sister. But if they don't get along with the majority of the women in their family, that's a big red flag. They always the victim. Oh, I don't talk to my sister. I don't talk to my mama. I don't get along with my cousins. Why? Why you got so much beef with your family? Now, and it's even worse when they family don't even deal with their kids. Now that means you really burnt some bridges. When your own family don't deal with you, your own mama don't want nothing to do with your children, her grandkids. Your own sister don't want nothing to do with her nieces and nephews. That means you've done something really shady when your own family don't fuck with you like that. I do not. That's one key to women. Do not bubble with females who don't get along with women in their family. Yep, Rhapsody. She was doing little shady stuff like low-key defending my enemy. Now, what I say, I'm a rock for you, I'm a rock for you. If you come to me and you tell me your enemy, you telling me some tea on your enemy, I'm not going to be co-signing on your enemy. Like, why are you talking about her like that? You don't even know her like that. I'm not about to sit up here and defend no goddamn enemy of yours. Especially if I know she did you in and me and you done talked about it. See, it's little dirty shit like that you got to pay attention to. Their own sister, their own mama don't like them. Something up with that. You cannot be friends with females that's in a miserable place. You have a lot of these sisters who try to walk around and act confident and try to act unbothered. Like shit don't really faze them. But that's just their way of concealing their misery. And you can always tell when a miserable ass broad is trying to conceal her misery, especially when she do all that bragging. Yeah, a lot, and most of them Rhapsody are going to have narcissistic tendencies. She'll try to low-key brag about the stuff she got to make herself seem relevant. She try to act like she impressed her baby daddy, don't give a damn. I don't need him. I'm the mama and I'm the daddy. All this little stuff to try to make herself appear to be confident, but really she's miserable. You have a lot of miserable women who will befriend you just to be in your company. And what they're doing is they're undercoverly, they're constantly comparing their life to yours. I had another girlfriend like that who always wanted to compare her struggles with my struggles. When I'm up here telling her about stuff that I'm going through, instead of her hearing me out, she wants to bring up shit she going through. Or she wants to compare. Well, at least you got this, at least you got that. I don't have this and I don't have that. If you friends with a female that's constantly comparing her life to yours or her struggles to yours, that's one friendship you do not want. Or she's been miserable, or I can't stand the other females I don't like is those I got a new man bitches. They get a new man for 5 minutes and act like they've been with him for 5 years. They're already going around bragging and telling everybody, already putting on social media that they in a relationship. You bragging on a man that, and she does this with every man. You got some females, every time they get a man, they show their ass. I don't mess with them kind either. They've been calling you all week long until they got with Big Mike. Now that Big Mike coming around, she ain't got time for you no more. Big Mike let her down. Big Mike go back dealing with his baby mama. Now she want to call you and talk to you. Oh, yeah, I know about them kind of Rhapsody. Oh, I don't like them kind either. Oh, I don't like them kind of females. A lot of them will listen to your problems but act like they don't have none. I had a girlfriend like that. When I would tell her stuff, she'd be on some, oh, girl, I can't relate to that because that ain't never happened to me. I ain't never had that happen. I ain't never went through that. Bitch, you went through something. You may ain't went through what I went through, but you went through something. Those times I get a new man, I was like a clone of her old one. Kai, you are a mess, bruh. OMG. You ain't never lied. They would go pick up another generic brand that looked just like the dude they had. You ain't lying. Already posting 20 pictures of him on social media, and y'all only went on one date. One cheddar biscuit, and you already want to claim this dude. You post 20, 30 pictures of him, and then a week from now, we don't see you posting no more pictures of him. We don't see his pictures nowhere on the timeline. Until you know for sure, I can never understand women who do that. Unless you know for sure, you and that man gonna be together. You don't need to be around here already, letting everybody know this your man. And they embarrass themselves every time. Exactly. Keep your relationship a secret for a year before posting. And that's when, and that's when you show this behind us. Exactly. You don't know. You don't until you know for sure. How many times you going to keep bringing a new man to the family cookout? Bringing dudes around your family like you just know he going to be part of the family. We all got that one family member that always got a new man every new cookout. Yeah, went to Red Lobster one time, and already she up here bragging on this Negro like she just knows she gonna be with him for life. You already planning the wedding and all of that, like you just know. Child bye. Stop confiding in these miserable ass females. A lot of these women only want friendship so they have somebody who they can compare their life to. They want to know what's going on with you, what you going through. You have some women, they find happiness off of another woman's failures. It's sad, but a lot of these black women, when it comes to friendship, we have a hard time, a lot of black women have a hard time seeing other black women win because we're constantly being defeated. We're in a society where Black women have to constantly prove themselves. So we are always in competition with one another. And the thing about it is, what Black women have to understand, you don't have to be in competition with one another, because there are areas of my life, yes, I'm going to do better than you. And there's going to be areas in your life you're going to do better than me. But at the same time, it doesn't take away the fact that we still have struggles. Regardless of what. You don't have to hate on my success. You don't have to hate on my marriage, my relationship, or whatever. Your turn will come. Life is like a seesaw. When I'm up, you're going to be down. When you down, I'm going to be up. We both can't be on the up and up all the time. And I wish that more Black women in friendship will understand that. Support me during my time of success. And eventually, when it's your turn, I have to return back the favor. But the problem with a lot of Black women today, unfortunately, they want to be the only ones to win. They don't want nobody else to win. They want to be the only ones to get all the praises and the glory. And as soon as somebody else gets it, then it's a problem. You have single women hating on married women. You got married women hating on single women. You got women who don't have kids hating on women who got kids, and women who got kids hating on women who don't have kids. When the whole bottom line is, we all have something we have accomplished, and we all have something we are struggling to accomplish. And that's the problem with Black women. Black women have always been very competitive creatures. And this thing with one-ups. I've come to realize women that constantly brag on their kids is because that's all they have. You have to brag on your kids because you have nothing else to brag about. You don't have a husband. You don't have your own business. You don't have anything else. That's why you got to constantly brag on your children. You brag on everything pertaining to your children because that is all you got. You have women who constantly brag on their husbands because that is all they got. A lot of times when it comes to being a Black woman, women love to only brag on what they know they have. Because it's other things they can't have, so they don't address those things. Instead, they just keep bragging on the shit they do have. Exactly. And Kai says, I don't see how you, a married person in a good, happy marriage, and you're hating on non-married folks. And in some cases, the reason why you have some married women who be hating on, I say this, you have some put this way, miserable married women. Let me say that. You have miserable married women that hate on non-married women because the non-married woman doesn't have to go through what she's going through in her miserable marriage. Her husband may be controlling. Her husband may be hoeing out there doing all kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And she's looking at her single friend like, damn, she ain't got to go through this. You know what I'm saying? All she got to worry about is herself and herself only. But then you have the single woman that's low-key hating on this married woman, not knowing that this married woman is going through some bullshit, going through a lot of stuff. You know, Black women be hating on each other, not knowing the in-depth struggle of what we really go through. Or you have the miserable married woman that's hating on the happily married woman. You have that too. You have that too. I know I've known women who have been married for a long time, but being married for a long time don't mean you've been happy for a long time. You got some women, they're more, you have some miserable married women, they're more concerned with their image than their well-being. You have some women that will tolerate a lot of bullshit just so they can make people believe they're in a happy space. Because She'd rather stay in an unhealthy situation because she's worried about if she was to divorce or leave, that people are going to talk about her. People are going to look at her sideways. So you have a lot of miserable married women that will tolerate or stay in a marriage just to prove a point the people she think is looking for her to fail. So you have them kind too. Really, you just have to be wise on who you choose as a friend. You know, like my sincere was saying, she's grateful that she has good friends. They look out for each other. They pick each other up. You know, they encourage one another. It's very rarely you're going to find real friendship these days. The only best friend I had, she passed in 2015, and when I say that was the only down chick, never hated on me, never was jealous. If she was, I never saw it. I never got that spirit from her. But genuine friendship is hard to find. So if you do find a friend that is dear to you, that really wants to see you win, y'all both exchanging encouragement. It's not like you're the one always encouraging or you're the one always reaching out. She's reaching out to you as well. Then that's awesome. What's up, 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼? Because very rarely, yes, married women keep very quiet out of their respect for their husband because they're going to stay in a situation that single people assume is perfect. And sometimes the thing is, sometimes you damn near got to do that, because the moment you start letting people know what's going on in your marriage and you and your husband, y'all work things out. Here it is, you still looking at these people focusing on y'all situation that y'all done worked out. Exactly. Real friends will call you out when you mess up. Now you got some friends, they only feel like you're a friend as long as you co-signing and you lying to them. I lost a friend. My last genuine friendship I had, I lost a friend over keeping it real. I lost a friend over keeping it real because I did not say what she wanted to hear. And it's a lot of black women who done lost friendship over keeping it real with other black women who didn't want to keep it real. Sometimes the more real you are, that's the less friends you're going to have. The more fake you are, fakeness is becoming more accepted than realness. The problem with the majority of us as black women, we want somebody that's gonna pamper our we basically want somebody that's gonna pamper our poor decisions. We want somebody that's gonna tell us, girl, it's okay, it's gonna be all right. So what? You having a third child from your no good baby daddy. That's okay, girl. Y'all gonna make it, girl. Or so what? You still want to stay with that abusive ass nigga? It's okay, girl. He gonna change, girl. He gonna be a better man, girl. Just give it some time, girl. He'll get it together, girl. I have lost friendship because I wouldn't lie to make her comfortable. I wouldn't lie to her to make her comfortable. Now, my thing is, don't ask for the truth, and then when people give it to you, you want to feel some type of way when it's not the answer you really want. So I've learned if I'm in a vulnerable place about something, I don't ask for real advice if I know I can't handle it at that point in time. You have to be careful with asking people to keep it real, and then when they keep it real and you know you have not truly healed, sometimes the truth, you ain't ready for it. Don't ask for the truth unless you're ready for truth. And the thing is, black women, we have learned to live off of delusions because delusions make you feel comfortable. And me being a black woman, I can honestly say I have lived off of some delusions because that's what kept me safe. Delusions have been keeping black women safe for years, and it's been costing us. It's been costing us in friendship, in relationships. Delusions, because we want so badly to believe that something is going to work for us. That's not going to work. It's like trying to fit a damn circle into a square peg. Black women, we're always trying to make something fit where it don't belong. You could want Big Mike all you want, but if he ain't the man for you, he ain't going to be with you anyway. I know you staying with him because you got a point to prove to your mama, to your daddy, and your girlfriends who already told you Big Mike ain't shit. You still trying to hold on to Big Mike because you got a point to prove. You gonna prove to your mama, your sisters, and everybody that you and Big Mike gonna make it. And behind closed doors, you miserable as hell because you trying to keep this front up. What's up, Patrice? You're trying to keep this front up because you're more concerned about your image than your well-being. You more worried about what people gonna think of you, what people gonna say about you. People gonna talk. Let me tell you something, women. People gonna talk about you regardless. Yep, insanity. Doing the same shit, but expecting different results. People gonna talk about you if you stay with Big Mike or if you don't be with Big Mike. Delusions have made us very comfortable, and it's been hurting us. Holding on to lies, holding on to image. And the biggest thing, the biggest kryptonite with Black women, we always trying to one up each other. One up. What's with Black women and one ups? Well, at least I know who my baby daddy is. Yeah, but your baby daddy ain't shit. Yeah, I'm glad. Kudos to you. Oh, well, I'm the first one. I'm the first one to give him his son. I'm the first one to give him his daughter. Yeah, and you ain't the first one that he ain't been paying no child support to. Or you got them other kind. At least I'm married. Yeah, you married, but he holding around on you. You married to him, but he ain't married to you, sis. I agree, Rhapsody. But the problem with the Black community, a lot of us, the reason why Black men and Black women are struggling finding relationships, because the truth is, a lot of us, we still don't know ourselves. We don't know ourselves. And the truth is, a lot of us are still struggling with some childhood trauma. You got some broken Black men and bitter Black women who have not psychologically healed from things that they have experienced in their past. And what is going on with the Black community is that we want to point out each other's faults instead of working on our own faults. You got Black men who want to preach where Black women need to get themselves together, and you have Black women who want to preach on Black men who need to get themselves together. When really at the end of the day, everybody has to get their own individual selves together. Nobody really needs to be correcting anybody, because we all got areas in which we are successful and we all got areas in which we are not successful. You have to individually work on the areas in which you are not successful, and stop calling out everybody else's faults and flaws and work on your own. That's the problem with these YouTube streets. That's the problem with these content creators. Everybody has all the answers for what the opposite sex should be, when all you need to do is work on being a better man. Work on being a better woman. That's what you do. Stop telling Black women how to work on being better Black women when you are a Black man. Because truth be told, as a Black man, you cannot relate to every single struggle of being a Black woman. And as a Black woman, you don't need to be ridiculing and criticizing what Black men need to do, because as a Black woman, you do not understand the depth of what it takes to have to be a Black man in America. I am tired of black men and black women thinking we all got the answers to each other. Work on your own bullshit and stop worrying about what everybody else needs to do. Work on you. If black men would work on themselves, we'll have a better black community. If black women will work on themselves, we'll have a better community. Everybody wants to tell everybody what they need to do. And these dating coaches who y'all worship, who y'all treasure, they got skeletons in their closet that they still need to work on. I'm tired of everybody thinking they got the answers to what we should and should not do. Work on you. Start from there. How about we start from there? Well, work on your own personal demons in your closet. I can do content all day on how black men ain't shit, but that's not going to better me as a black woman by constantly talking down on black men. And it's not going to better black men by talking down on black women. Because the truth of the matter is, there is no struggles. Put it this way, none of us, regardless of how educated we are, regardless of how well dressed we are, regardless of how much money we make, all of us ain't got it together. I don't care who you are or what you are. We all ain't got it together. And for those of you who acting like you got it all together, don't worry, because in due time, you will be exposed for the shit you don't have together. That's why me, personally, I praise and worship no one other than Jesus himself. Because man will disappoint you. And when I say man, I'm talking about men and women. Man will disappoint you. And like Rhapsody says, sometimes they don't even know what they're talking about because of so many factors. For one, there's too many generalizations in the black community. It's too many generalizations. We have, again, and I've said this before, we have made it safe to hate. We have made it safe to hate. If I can hate you, that's the less I got to work on me. Long as I can tell you where you are going wrong in life, I don't have to face where I'm going wrong in life. God says, truth be told, all these women bashing black men don't realize that the men that if that are of value are just decent, notice it, and don't want no part in that particular woman, a group of women that do that. Yes. And I've spoken this on my other channel. The black bashing culture, it has become a cult. It has become a cult in which you got men that are reciting the black bashing antics. You got black women that are reciting the black bashing antics. The black bashing culture is on the rise. It has become a cult. It's taking over the black YouTube sector, and all it's doing is poisoning and contaminating the black community. Because as long as we keep boosting each other up by destroying and dismantling and tearing each other down, what y'all are not realizing, the next generation that's coming right behind y'all is going to adopt those same characteristics and principles. And when it's your time to go, you are leaving the next generation with all of these toxic ass perceptions about black men and black women. And in due time, like I said, all of these people that you are praising and worshiping, who you think got all the answers to what black women are, to what black men are, in due time, you're going to find out. When it's their day to get exposed, you're going to find out. They don't have all the answers. None of us do. Not even with my wisdom, my level of intelligence. I don't have all the answers. And I'm not going to sit up here and bash a specific group of people like I have it all together. Because we all got areas in our lives that we both need some work on. You got grown men up here telling other black men what type of black women to stay away from, but they don't have no receipts on how they know what's a good black woman. Where's your black woman? What I would like to see, really, I would like to see more couples. I would like to see more black men and black women become content creators. I would love to see more couples become content creators. All these single black men telling other black men what kind of black woman they should want, or black women telling other black women what type of black man they should want. These single people that are content creators, got all the answers of what it takes to have a relationship, but I don't see them with nobody. How you can't tell me as a black man you know everything about a black woman and you're not even with a black woman. How about this? Bring a black woman that you're in a relationship with on your panel so I can reflect and learn from the both of you. You cannot teach me everything about a black woman when you're by yourself as a black man and you're not even with a black woman. Or you're a black woman and you're by yourself doing the majority of your content on black man. Where's your black man? Where he could also add his viewpoints. I gotta learn everything about a black man from just a black woman by herself? I don't think so. We need more couples that are content creators that can reflect and give both viewpoints from a black man and a black woman. I don't see enough of that. That's what we need more of. We need more couples that are content creators. All these single people who are single and can't produce no receipts, but they got all the answers for what's a good black woman and what's a good black man. I don't see you with one. Where is your 10 and above black woman? Where's she at? You got all the answers for what a 10 is. Was not considered an average woman. Okay, let me see your cream of the crop woman. Because until you can show me an example, as far as I'm concerned, no woman will ever be good enough because I don't see you with a woman. And I'm going to say that respectfully because I know we got some fans in here, but make it make sense. Now, as a black woman, you have already pretty much adopted your own philosophies on what's a great black man. Well, where is he? When you gonna produce us some receipts and show us where he at? Everybody have all these ideologies, but yet they can't produce the receipts. Yeah, I'm thinking about using my Twitter. I haven't used it in a while, but I think I'm going to start back using it. Unfortunately, Mocha, that's also something that people don't acknowledge. Out of all the single people telling us this and that and all the negative there are, those single ones that do not know without experience, that's what I can't understand. How you have all the answers for a relationship when I don't see you in one? That's like you being a pastor and leading a congregation to learn about the Lord, but you don't have a relationship with God, but yet you're teaching everybody in your church how they need to find the Lord, they need to live for the Lord, but you ain't doing none of that. Exactly, Carmel. That's why I said, y'all got to be woke. Y'all got to be woke. It's going to be a lot of false prophets on YouTube, a lot of false dating coach experts that's not really dating coaches because they don't date. They don't promote dating. They promote hating. These dating coaches aren't promoting dating, they're promoting hating. I don't hear none of them talk about how to build a relationship. All I hear is criticism. You ain't good enough. You ain't pretty enough. You ain't attractive enough. You don't make enough money. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're not addressing how Black men and Black women can come together and build and have something fulfilling, something solid. Exactly, Rhapsody. Rhapsody says, I watch them because they make good points, but I'm not trying to use them as coaches because a lot of these people on these channels are dangerous in real life. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Yes, nothing wrong with listening because, truth be told, everybody has knowledge. Everybody has something we can learn from. Even people you don't like, it does not mean you can't learn something from them. Now, some of these dating coaches, I listen to them, but I don't worship them. I don't take all their philosophy and principles and hold them dear to my heart to the point I'm caping for them. No, Mocha, I'm saying that there's some single people that do not know what it takes to be in a relationship, more so than there ones that have a history of it. God works in mysterious ways. Yeah, no, I totally get what you were saying. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I wish more couples would have a platform where you can learn from the man and the woman. I'm just seeing a man have a platform. He got all the answers for what it takes to be a man and a woman to have a relationship. I don't think so. Or you have a woman who's doing a panel on her own and she has all the answers. My thing is, when are these people going to produce receipts? You don't have a solid relationship. You don't know what it takes. Like, I've been meaning to, but I haven't gotten around it. Like, I was gonna do a couple of shows with my husband and talk about marriage and stuff like that. He's just been working a lot. But I'm definitely, even if it's just once every 2 months, because people need to hear from a Black man and a Black woman's perspective on what it takes to have a long withstanding relationship. And it's not enough of Black men and Black women on YouTube that's producing that. All a lot of Black men and Black women on YouTube is producing is hate and bashing, and they're just putting a lot of negative energy out there, and it's making Black men do not want to look for love. It's making Black women not want to look for love, and it's all because you got these bitter pill content creators who are giving bitter pill knowledge. And my thing is this: you're not going to keep addressing it. The way I look at it is, if you're constantly going to address your hate for a certain group of people, somewhere you loved those group of people that you keep addressing. You're not going to keep addressing something that you didn't care about. No one is going to speak on something you don't care about. If you're constantly talking about it, it's because somewhere it affects you. You still care about it. If I'm constantly bashing Black men, it's because at some point in time, I really cared about Black men. And somewhere something happened that disappointed me, and it turned me away from not caring for them to where I feel like I have to bash them. But the point is, at some point, you cared about it, because it wouldn't be affecting you to the extent to where it's affecting you, in which you constantly speak and preach on it. And that is the same way with Black women. If you're constantly bashing and attacking Black women, something happened to you somewhere that you're not addressing. I don't know if your Black mama abused you. I don't know if your Black mama dragged you because she thought you was going to be gay. She saw you having some feminine characteristics, and she always ridiculed you about it. Now that you have a voice and you're at a certain place in your career, now you feel like you could bash. Something happened. As a Black woman, if you can keep bashing Black men, what happened? Did your father abandon you, neglect you? Did somebody in your family rape you, molest you? Something happened. There's no way in the world you're going to keep promoting this level of hate for a certain group of people if something did not happen to you. And if you look real deep into these content creators, if you really look deep into their history, you will find out why they choose to build their platform off of such negative hate towards a specific group of people. Something happened. You're not going to keep preaching on something if something by it didn't personally affect you. No more than Martin Luther King. You know why Martin Luther King kept pushing for equal rights and civil rights? Because it was affecting him, his family, his children. It was affecting him. That's why he kept speaking and preaching against it so strongly, to the point he pushed for us to have the rights we have because it affected him. So my thing is, anytime you have a content creator that's tearing down and being critical of a certain group of people, and that is what he or she does on the daily basis, look deep. Something happened. You don't just hate black women and hate black women. You don't just criticize black women. Something happened to make you develop that type of level of hate. Same thing with a black woman. Something happened. She's not hating black men for nothing. Something happened. But the bad part is these individuals that are building their platforms against bashing black men or black women, they are using things from their personal childhood, from their personal past, and they are spreading this bitter pill content that's poisoning the black community. And I can only speak for myself, but it takes a person to know God and to know yourself, to be transparent. I had my period when I resented black men. And I adopted a lot of these bitter pill, bitter sisterhood, bitter pill knowledge, because I was at a point in time when black men was not checking for me. And I couldn't understand it. Not knowing that it had a lot to do with the area I was living in. The area where I was living in, the majority of black men was only interested in white women, because I was living in a highly, heavily populated interracial population. I was living in Ledyard, Connecticut. And that was all I saw, was a high population of interracial couples. Went to the grocery store, saw black men with white women. Went to the movies, saw black men with white women. Went to the club, saw black men with white women. Then the one black guy that was checking for me, who I thought we possibly could have had something, this nigga was married to a white woman. And it really tore up my self-esteem, and it made me resent black men at that point in time. It made me angry. It caused a trigger. It stirred me up because I couldn't figure out what was it about me where these black men was only interested in women of other races. But then I realized That was just the culture within that county. Exactly, Kai. Even Martin was wanted proving he wasn't perfect, but he cared for his people. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You got these content creators that try to sit here and act like they got so much. They so perfect to where they feel like they can be disrespectful and say anything to anybody. And you got to be mindful of that. Even with your success, you got to be careful with how you treat people, with how you disrespect people. Yeah, I was living in Ledger, Connecticut. And Ledger, Connecticut was, like I said, it was basically a white suburb community. And everybody pretty much was married to people outside of their race. And I realized it was just that town. But when I moved down south and I met my own husband, I no longer adopted those philosophies. I no longer had that anger and resentment. So as I stated, people are not resentful towards black women for nothing. People are not resentful towards black men for nothing. Something happened. Either they got rejected somewhere, either their own black mama or their own black daddy didn't show them no love. Let me tell you something. If a lot of these content creators, until they can be transparent with you and give you a little bit more information on their background, not telling you the pretty parts where they just want you to know about their success, you have to be mindful who advice you take in. Because the truth is, a lot of these so-called blue pill brothers and I mean these red pill brothers and these red pill, pink pill, whatever. A lot of them underneath all their knowledge, all the intelligence, a lot of them have some underlying issues. Think about it. There's no way a person could, day in, day out, you just want to keep attacking the same group of people. There's something psychologically wrong underneath all of that. So, like I said, just keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down and stuff. You know, you got to be woke. You can't always follow the crowd. Just because that's where everybody else goes, that don't mean that's where you need to go. You have to have your own mind. You have to follow your own intuition, because everybody's not trying to lead you the right direction. Some people are just trying to profit. Some people are all about the dollars. They all about the notoriety. They're not about really building the black community. They're not about uplifting the black community. But at the same time, the black community does not want to be entertained. Does not want to be educated. The black community wants to be entertained. We want people to make a mockery out of each other, because that's what makes us feel good about ourselves. When I see people supporting content creators that make a mockery out of other people, that's just people's way of, basically being happy with their failures. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to shut it down. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Again, if y'all haven't subscribed, ladies, please make sure y'all subscribe here to my late Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I'm gonna definitely be speaking more on issues within the black community with black women. We're going to be talking about avoiding those typical black women statistics, falling into that entrapment of just becoming another statistic to society. We're going to be addressing all those issues. We're going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be talking about single parenting. We're going to be talking about a lot of issues that affect black women. Also, if anybody needs cable, don't forget I sell cable. I got my own live stream app. 6,000 channels, only $26 a month for those of you who are interested. Also, my main channel is Mocha's Cafe de Paris, so please make sure you subscribe to that channel as well if you haven't already. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, but I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I got some things I got to do. I got to go get my Starbucks, because I've been needing that for the longest. So I'm about to go get my white chocolate mocha frappuccino, because I didn't have it since this morning. So I'm going to hit up my Starbucks. So anyway, y'all, I'll holler at y'all later. It's your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth. I'm going to always make you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care. Be blessed.